Hi people, it's me again, obviously, Morino, Ravenberg, as always and as usual. Yeah, as you can tell from the header, this is going to be the final video on Magnolia Gibson. I repeat, the final video. Now, before I continue, all prior videos that I have done on her, you can find those linked in the description below or the end screen. I can't remember exactly how many videos I've recorded that relate to her in some way, shape or form, but I'm telling you guys right now, you can find everything that I've ever done that relates to her in either linked in the description below or at the end screen of this video. I would recommend that you simply check the description thingy. That you check the link in the description of this video. Now, most of you that are watching this will already be familiar with the story, but again, like I said, this is the final video. This is the last video that I'll be recording that has anything to do with her. So let me just clear some things up. Now, a lot of people have this idiotic notion that she was my girlfriend. Back in the day, I referred to her as my ex-fiancée because I briefly thought that, you know, maybe YouTube might do difficult or act difficult if I simply use her name, etc. But that is not the case. I simply made an impulsive judgment call back then. I also didn't like using the word or the phrase ex-fiancée. It sounds weird. Okay, it sounds way too impersonal. Now, anyways, most of you watching this, so you know, most people that follow me, they've already seen a lot. They've seen all if not most of the videos relating to her. So these are things to clear up. She is not my girlfriend. She was never my girlfriend. No girlfriend, no nothing. Okay. Let me try to summarize it really quickly because people have difficulty sometimes following the story for whatever reason, despite the fact that it's not really complicated. I repeat, she is not my girlfriend. She was never my girlfriend. Okay? She was never my fiancée. The whole thing was a ruse from my part out. She was literally just the product of a magical working. My energy, my divine energy back then brought her to me so that I could study insanity at its finest. I've already had in prior videos and whatnot told you how insane she is, but yeah, how mentally disturbed she is, but I'm still going to continue on this note. So get this through to your thick skulls. Never refer to her as my ex or ex-girlfriend, etc. We were never seeing each other. The whole thing was a fucking fluke. You know what a fluke is? You know what a ruse is? R-U-S-E. You know what a fluke is? F-L-U-K-E. If not, then Google it and you'll see. So it was all just, it meant nothing. It was all just, let's just say the whole thing was one big experiment from my point out. I have like the world's biggest poker face, even if I say so myself. I can easily pretend and go along with something to the point where you will not be able to tell that I am just acting, essentially. I know exactly what I'm doing. Now, bear in mind, I didn't abuse her or take advantage of her. No. I simply used her. In exchange, she simply knew, I essentially made her feel what it's like to be normal. Again, I'll explain in a second, but get it through to your thick skulls based on what I said. She is not my ex, not my ex-girlfriend, not ex anything, nothing. I have no ex, I have no ex-girlfriend, nothing. So stop referring to her like that. If you're going to make any reference to her, which I do not recommend you do, unless it's in the comment section of either this video or one of the prior videos that I did on her, then simply refer to her by name, end of story, first name, that's it. Now, let me see, I had to write stuff of this down. Okay, so again, the whole thing was an experiment. I simply was studying insanity. So with everything that she said, everything in terms of her behavior, I wrote everything down. I was like, in my mind. I was like, yeah, this is one hell of a crazy bitch, oh boy. Which I already knew, but still, seeing it in front of you is like a doozy, one hell of a doozy. So yeah, now, the subject of how mentally disturbed this person is. This is someone that honestly is so mentally disturbed that she has surpassed the straitjacket stage, obviously, when I met her. This is someone that, in a metaphorical way, I would have had her, I'm not kidding, her and her entire family just, oh boy, in a world in which is legal, in which doing that is legal, make no mistake, I would have just absolutely done away with all of them, so to speak. So yeah, that's how insane she is. Think of breaking every imaginable scale you have on insanity. Now, in past videos, I've already highlighted the official disorder she has. Like, if you take all the symptoms she has and you put them through a Google search, you'll find them on like WebMD and stuff like that. You'll find the official classic, the officially labeled disorders for people that display those kind of symptoms. But all you need to know is that she is on a scale of 0 to 10. She is literally like insanity level 200. I mean, this is someone that literally has little to no contact with reality. This is someone whose mind created a world of its own, and that's the world that she lives in, at least for the most part. And the simple reason for that is a combination of factors. The first factor is the fact that she was born naturally feeble, FWBLE. So she was born with a natural weakness towards, or an inclination towards insanity and mentally ill behavior. The second part is that she grew up in one of the most toxic homes and households I have ever seen. Anything and everything from the gruesomest sexual abuse you can think of. We're talking about her father taking her own virginity at the age of 5-6 years old or something like that, to her mother relentlessly abusing her sexually, since birth up to the point where, essentially, more or less up to the point where metaphorically I entered her life. Let's just say up to the point where I knew her. And everything else in between you can think of. They're typical Canadian American rednecks, so I don't need to say anything. You know what these incestuous rednecks are like, but even by those standards, okay, these guys make cannibals from horror movies like The Hills Have Eyes just seem like nothing, like child's play. Again, I repeat, out of all the people I've known globally, like I know the entire world, even if I say so myself, I have never seen a case of abuse this bad, where someone has been abused this badly. And last but not least, also heavy doses of magic used against her, primarily by her mother. Her mother, essentially, long story short, just cast spell after spell after spell on her, and specifically black magic, like the darkest magic you can think of, just disgusting, like the magical equivalent of feces. Yeah. And yeah, the mother essentially uses the agony that her daughter is in. The mother uses the agony that her daughter is in to essentially empower herself. She's been doing that ever since birth. I know that through my magical work, because I've seen all of this. In case you were wondering, okay, how do you know all of this? It's me, so obviously I know all of this. I've allowed one or two other people to see it as well, and they saw it as well, and they said the same thing. They were like, no, that's horrible, just awful. Yeah. And let me see. That's essentially it, so you can see for yourself. Metaphorically speaking, no one can blame her for being so insane. No one can blame her. I mean, a combination of all the aforementioned factors, are you kidding me? Yeah. No, nothing. But this is someone, nevertheless, that puts serial killers to shame with her level of insanity. The entire family, more or less, has a long-standing history of insanity that stemmed from misuse of black magic and dark forces and whatnot, and just overall dysfunctionality. But yeah, she definitely takes the metaphorical crazy crown. She definitely takes the crazy crown. Just, oh boy. For example, the very first time I saw her, she was wearing a unicorn costume. I wanted to say a unicorn one-piece bathing suit, a onesie. It's not a onesie, really. It doesn't really count as a onesie. It was just a freaking unicorn costume, and it was the first time in my entire life that I've seen someone wear a unicorn costume, believe it or not. Literally, like the first time in my entire life that I've seen someone that literally displayed that level of insanity. I mean, seriously, just wow. I was just like, seriously, an adult wearing a unicorn costume? But yeah, coupled with the ultra deranged look she had in her eyes and her sticking her tongue out, like, ah. Yeah, it's obviously that this is someone that No, this is not. This is someone that is past the padded cell stage, the straitjacket stage. In prior videos, I've already discussed some of the notable things that she has been through in her life. Simple examples I can give, really short examples, because I'm not going to repeat myself. Or that someone that took advantage of her and abused her relentlessly, because this was someone that targets her type, you know. When she met me, or when I met her, up to that point she seriously believed that that person was a former lover, and she kept referring to him as her ex. These are notable examples, that someone that literally treated you like a mental toilet times 1,000, not figuratively, literally, and you seriously think that someone like that is a former lover. Again, that already tells you that this is someone that is literally, so to speak, hopelessly out of contact with reality. This is someone that is like 90% in the messed up world that they created in their head, their fucked up world. Like Alice in Wonderland, but a realistic horror movie version thereof. Like Alice in Wonderland mixed with any Hannibal Lecter movie, Silence of the Lambs, you name it. So yeah, like that. And yeah, what else can I say? Another example is that she seriously, at her so-called lowest point, thought about tasting her own feces, something that I brought up in a prior video as well, which is quite disgusting. Again, no one can tell me that someone that seriously even remotely considers tasting their own feces is not next level insane. Not even next level, this is like unknown level. Nothing but question mark, question mark, question mark. Look at that. You tell me how insane you need to be to think about tasting your own shit. Yeah, those are enough in the way of examples. Let me see what else I can bring up. Now, what I was going to say as well is that I published most of my findings regarding her, not specifically referring to her, but she was the inspiration for that. She was the guinea pig. Shortly after the whole debacle, so to speak, with her. That's why I've already told people this, but in case anybody missed it, people that follow me, or long-standing followers, they'll notice that right after that whole thing with her, I published a lot of videos specifically on mental illness. And I did so for a reason, like I said. All the data I collected on studying her, I processed all of it as okay, this is what, the human psyche is like. This is what insanity is like. And I published these videos bit by bit. And I'm very proud of myself in doing so, because I can easily say that I'm the only person in the world that has this level of data on insanity. And for people that are wondering, how could you do it? Because I wouldn't be able to even remotely, think someone like that, stomach something like that, or someone like that. It's me. I'm Morino Ravenberg, so I'm the only person in the world, dare I say, or at the very least one of the very few people that can easily withstand that toxic level of insanity, that level of negative mental energy without even flinching. So it's not a big deal to me, it's not an issue. The only drawback was that in that time it made me a little, not melancholic, more serious-minded, because again, being exposed to that level of toxicity is no doozy, even for someone like me. It's not an issue. It's like standing outside in the rain. I have no problem with the rain, but at the same time, obviously, I'm not going to be literally sitting in the rain and going la-di-da-di-da. No. So, there were times when I felt slightly like melancholic or slightly more serious-minded, like that. And let me see if I missed anything else. Yeah, and another thing, again, shortly summarized, that I already mentioned in the past, is that regardless of all the pain and misery and all the horrible things this person has been through in her life, regardless of all the things that Magnolia has been through in her life, I don't care about any of that, because obviously that would be unfair. No one chooses misery, and none of us choose misery. It's essentially thrown into your face when you're born, and you have to deal with it to the best of your ability. If you can't, tough luck for you. But that's not my point. My point is that from a personality-based perspective, this is someone that does not deserve remorse, because in the beginning, if you don't know her, you're going to think, oh, poor girl. But no, that's not the case. In reality, believe me, okay, this is not someone that deserves pity or remorse of any kind, because when it comes to her bare bone personality, like I've already mentioned in the past, this is not someone that has anything positive going for her, or anything that she can contribute in any meaningful way to anyone in the world, honestly. This is someone that was metaphorically born to be just used and abused and whatnot. The thought alone already seriously pisses me off, like really angers me when I think about how offensive someone like that, how offensively lacking in value someone like that can be. But again, this is someone that's the equivalent of a homeless person that you pity, and the homeless person has the audacity to be choosy or picky or selective. And you're essentially going to tell the person, no, you belong alongside the street, you deserve to die here. Exactly. A simple example is, for example, you give that homeless person $1 and the person says, F you, I want $10, you're so cheap, only $1. No, beggars can't be choosers, but yet in this world you have choosing beggars, believe it or not. And it's the same thing with her. Long story short, while I was studying her, I also said to myself, you know what, this is someone that seems to be simply had tough luck. Someone that seriously is just in a horrible position that she can't do anything about due to her horrible mental state, and is simply a victim of circumstance. Let me give her a chance by simply making her aware of everything. Not using my powers outright and stuff like that. No. Simply by essentially just talking to her and making her aware of the situation and helping her where need be. And I did so, but as time passed, I confirmed for myself that what I knew all along, that hey, this is not someone that deserves help or remorse of any kind. This is someone that deserves mistreatment of the lowest order, highest order, lowest order, what have you. Whatever you want to use. Because this is someone where I went out on not one, but multiple limbs for her, in a matter of speaking. And in exchange, I got an attitude along the lines of, don't bother me, or similar. And I was like, and not to mention ungratefulness. And I'm like, seriously? Oh, so I'm sorry, me sticking my hand in fire for you because out of the goodness of my heart, because you're too incompetent to do so, is bothering you? And that's when I simply said no. I simply said to myself, no. This is someone that has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that she deserves the absolute worst in the world. That's when you say to yourself, no, this is someone that deserves, bluntly put, all the shit that she has endured and all the shit that she will endure. This is someone that truly deserves pain and suffering. Okay, their very personality warrants pain and suffering. And that's when I simply, severed all ties with her, essentially. And I said the things I said, which were not nice, but nevertheless true, obviously. Just like most things, if not most things I say. And let me see if there's anything else. No, I have nothing else in my notes regarding this subject. What else can I say? So yeah, I hope that it's clear for people up to this point, because I'm done with this subject for good. No more videos regarding her, nothing. You want to listen to the entire story in detail, etc., everything, then again, consult the prior videos. Let me see if there are any last words or anything else that I can say regarding her. No, nothing really. That's essentially it. Anything else I would be saying is just me repeating myself in relation to the prior videos. No. That is all. So I hope it's clear. Have a pleasant day or night or evening, you guys, and Until next time.